Okay. 10 to the n. Okay, very nice. It looked for a moment like you might be doing number theory. So, I definitely put these in a grid, right? Oh, I have to draw. Okay, blackboard. Well, you have to account for the fact that I need to like get my Twitch set up. It's actually I'm surprised. The thing that surprised me the most on my first stream was how much harder it is to do on Twitch. Because the first stream I was just like, wow, my effective IQ has dropped like 20 points, and yeah, since then I've gotten more used to it, so I'm a little more back to my natural speed. But the first stream was a complete disaster. It was just like things that I normally should have no problem doing just didn't work. Oh geez, maybe this grid is too big for the first example. Why don't we start with n equals 1? How about that? N equals 1. So I want to take GCDs. So on step 1, the only things that I can do that are useful, you just kind of kill things as quickly as possible, right? So hit these, now you have a bunch of these, so 2 steps. Okay, now, oh man, that's too big. Shoot, how do you draw it? Oh no, that's it. It just looks like that. It's a window pane. So this is n equals 2. Okay, this is a little less clear to me. So here's the thing, like this number up here, this maximal number, you must pair with a 1 because there's factors, just always. Is that true? No, that might not be true. No, that's true. So it's sort of like these guys are, well, okay, that's not quite true. But like what if I, dang it, I wonder if I can do a thing where I count the distance, like when I take 2 points, they each move a certain amount, and is like 4 an upper bound or something? Okay, let me draw a rectangle. In general, what's happening is I have a dot here, a dot here. I shouldn't use, I'm using... No, that's too thin. So... yeah, so it's like on a move, this guy goes down by like some number, and then this guy goes down by some other number. And there's a total distance I need all the points to move. Well, okay, that's one way to do it. And the other is if I have a rectangle that looks like that. Why is it so hard to draw? If I have a thing that looks like that, it's still the same actually. Like you go like some number and some number. So there's an upper bound of like 4, or I guess there's an upper, for this example there's an upper bound of 4. Like every operation I can move at most 4 spaces. Now the total number of spaces that need to be moved is like 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. What does the average to? I have no idea. As long as I can achieve equality though, I don't actually care what the average is to. It's just, can I on every turn make sure I'm always moving 4 spaces? And isn't the answer yes, just because I can keep pairing it with... No, that's not true. This one always moves 4 spaces actually. Here I can get... This is the issue. This number, I don't think I can make it move 4. But actually that's okay because I can use the bound on this problem. This number, it's impossible. Is that right? What does the grid represent? Great question. Let me actually explain. So I took the factors of 10 to the n and arranged them in a grid so that like this is 1, 2, 4, this is like 1, 5, and then 10 to the 10 is up there. That's what the grid represents. What do I mean by moving? I literally mean moving. Like I'm imagining there's some counters, and in a move I can take two counters like this and move them here, both here, or I can take two counters like this and then move this one to match that one. Yeah. So that's just how I'm visualizing the problem, and I already have a bound where I say every move, the total distance moved is at most, and for the n equals 2 example, it's 4. This bound, however, happens to not be sharp, and the reason this bound isn't sharp is if I look at this dude, there's no way I can get it to move 4 with some other guy, right? At least on its first turn. Yeah, so the other thing is I'm going to do a thing where I keep track of where the counters initially are and then say something about at most how much I can move them or something. What am I trying to say? Okay, what I'm saying is that for every counter there is a penalty on for some of the counters there's a penalty on it, and what I mean by a penalty is that let me say what I mean. The first time that you move this counter, I claim there's a penalty of -1. And what I mean by this is that the first time I move it, that rectangle, the sum of the displacements will necessarily be at most 3. Like there's no way I can have my initial move get the full 4 that's promised possible or something like that. Did you already observe that to the... yeah. They're already ordered pairs. I literally have it on a grid already, yeah. Oh my god, how are you back? Okay, so here there's a -1 penalty. Here's like a -1 penalty. I don't know if this penalty will be enough to get the bound I want in the general case. I think it's probably good enough for this one, but yeah. This one actually has a -2 penalty. This cell... I don't think this is -1 penalty? Right. Yeah, okay. So the penalties... Actually, a lot of cells have a penalty, so maybe I don't even, like... Do the penalties stack, though? If I... Wow, this is not good. Okay, so I think... You only have one buy? It's not an ordered pair of ints. It's an ordered pair of booleans. Oh, I see. You only care about whether it's positive or not. Is that true? Wait, why is that true? Because you need to get to 0, right? Yeah. Ah, yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so maybe instead of doing this size thing, I care about the number of zeros that are created. Well, you never do the operation to two non-distinct numbers anyways. Wait, like if you do the if you if you do the operation to the same number twice, it's just actually, yeah, maybe instead of taxi cab distance, I just care about the number of zeros, right? Yeah, forget distance. Just number of zeros. Is it just claim at most 2 new ones? Does this work? Yeah, it's like you wipe out 2 zeros, but like you can't get more than 2 new ones because otherwise 2 of them overlap. So, okay, is that tight? Can I just achieve it? I think that sounds very optimistic. Actually no, it's not. It's fine. We're fine. You just pair up you move all these guys here, and then each of these you just pair with 1. Okay, so I think that just works, and I don't know the answer is, but I think it's like, okay, let me calculate this. It's like n plus n squared. Yeah, so I was doing this taxi cab distance thing, but it's actually zeros that are more important. So the claim is at most 2 new zeros each step, and then like thus n plus n squared. What do you think about this problem? I think this is like, yeah, this feels good. This feels like a problem that is, I think the difficulty and flavor are both right. Smart. Now I only have 4 bits. Thank you for the 1 bit share, man. Alright, so as I promised, this was harder than Sjmo 3. Huh. It is okay, like I mean oh, that's a mistake. I don't know, like I was kind of looking at this, it just felt like it should be like a sum or something. I don't know, I'm trying to describe why I knew it should be like a summing type argument. Yeah, I think one thing is that if you have a lot of young students, they might just like write incorrect proofs. N squared plus n is not achievable? It's not? Well, this is why you shouldn't get the answer first. Or that's an exaggeration. But I think like in this case, it felt like I didn't care at all what the numerical answer came out to. I cared about how do you get there, and there's a lot of equality cases, but they all sort of have this shape like, you know, the rectangles. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like this rectangle picture, I think makes it feel like I know what's going on. I think like I got this picture here with like this right away, and I think the main mistake I made is I thought that the distance mattered when the correct metric was the number of just whether it's 0 or not. And once I was like, oh, you want zeros, forget the distance, you know, it's what it is. Yeah, I also think like, do people not use the rectangle? Because like, how else are you going to visualize it? Well, it's like these things do matter. Like it just should be a 2D grid. Like if you try to do the problem with just abstract numbers, like I think to do math correctly, math works better if it feels natural to you, and that's why changing to a grid or things like this actually, even though the solution is independent of them, they matter a lot because they let you work. Like you can tap into your like human intuition to do math because math is hard. Cool. Alright, let's go on. So I'm doing CNCM, and then after that I'm calling it a day. Can you define naturally? Okay. There's this thing called if you've read the book Thinking Fast and Slow, you can very roughly, like very roughly, like model your brain as having two different types of thinking. There's something that's called a system 1, which is the things that come intuitively to you. Like you don't have to. You describe system 1 as natural and system 2 as effortful. Like, I mean things like when I say like 2 plus 2, you don't have to like spend effort to realize the answer is 4. You just hear like, oh, that's just 4. Like it happens automatically. So system 1 is sort of all these things that sort of happen automatically, and system 2 is the things that you have to do deliberately. For example, if I count the number of letters in a sentence, that's not a thing that you do by default. You kind of have to kind of manually do it. And to first order, I think doing math is a lot. I think learning math is a lot about updating your system 1 to have the right instincts, and doing math is like having your system 1 and system 2 work together, which is actually hard because math is hard. Surprise.